Hello, everyone. It's Dr. James Marcum with another biblical prescription for life. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you appreciate this type of video, give it a thumbs up, share it with our neighbors, and please subscribe. Today, we're going to talk about another natural remedy, taking it to the next level. And today, we're going to be talking about this one right here, turmeric. We're doing a series this year every so often. I'm trying to pick the natural remedies that I think are most useful and that most people use. If you want to go back, we've already covered ginger, garlic, and now we're going to cover turmeric today. But before we do that, let's talk about a biblical prescription from James 1, verses 5. And I claim this promise frequently. And it says this: if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him. You know, I ask for wisdom a lot. And a lot of people are asking me, how do I evaluate information? How do I evaluate if a treatment's good? How do I evaluate what's best for a patient or a person? Or how do I evaluate someone else that's making health claims? Well, everyone has a process. And the first thing I do is I pray about it and ask God. I claim these promises, 1 James 1:5. If I lack wisdom, I want to ask God for knowledge. The different promises: do all to the glory of God. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. In all thy ways acknowledge him. He's going to direct your path. So I look at the promises of God, and then I compare the treatment with the Bible. Is there any contraindications? A lot of the times, what I like to do also is I like to look at information from different sources, compare them, looking at the Bible. When it's an individual, I like to, look what that individual stands for, whether that individual is selling a product, trying to make money, whether they're on strong evidence. But one thing that I really like is I like to look and see if they are biblically based. I want to know if that individual believes that the source of health and the true treatment for disease is Christ. And if they do that, then that really adds a lot to what I think about what they're saying. And I also realize that not everyone has it right, and not everyone is going to agree with me, because there's many different ways to look at things. So a lot of people go to different sources and get their information. Now, I do the best I can to look at things and pray about it and balance things, but a lot of it also has to do with the person's belief systems. You have to treat individuals based on their belief systems as well. If someone believes in all their heart with God leading them, it's not going to work, then you might not want to go down that pathway. So those are just some of the considerations that I use when I evaluate a treatment or a person that's recommending something. I look at many different sources. I go to the Bible. I pray about it. I ask God to lead me. I make sure what they're saying harmonizes with the scriptures. I look to see if they believe that Christ is the key to health, and if they believe in that. Then I also look at the overall picture, and I realize that everyone is not going to agree on everything. There's going to be some disagreements. I look at belief systems, and then I try to make those recommendations that will help my patient and as many people as possible. So this is not an easy or exact science. And right now in our world, man, a lot's going on. I just read, we're finding out that how money influences things and how the media has their own agendas to promote their products, and that they put all these narratives out there over and over, and people tend to believe it. And a lot of stuff is just done for money, and there's just no biblical strength behind some of the recommendations. So that's why I've I'm going to go through this year, we're going to go through many different natural remedies because I think natural remedies are a great place to start, especially for chronic disease, especially if we're not having emergencies. Do I believe that we have a place for modern medicine? Yes, but I don't believe it's what we've created in the media and what people should be reaching for first. I think people need to have options. In fact, I was talking to someone the other day. I said, listen, you're in the hospital. We can either do this or we could do this. You could either keep coming in and getting treated for symptoms, or we could try to get at the cause. Um, God's given us a life to live. He's given us free choice. I just want to give you all of the options available, treat you with love and respect, and you choose what you would like to do. But a lot of people don't even have or given these options. So that's what we're trying to do with natural remedies. When I say take it to the next level, there's many people out there talking about natural remedies, but there's not many that have a perspective of that actually treat a lot of people in the hospital with a lot of medications that can help you with the interactions, those type of things. That's when I say taking it to the next level. But there's many more that we're going to be looking at. I'm trying to look at the most popular ones, the ones that have some a lot of information out there first. And today we're going to talk about turmeric. Many of you heard of this before. Many of you use this to season your food. It's from the ginger family. It's a rhizome. It's from India and Southeast Asia, and it is very popular for medicinal uses, and it's been used for many, many, many years. That's why I think it's a very useful natural remedy if used correctly in the right amount for the right situations. It's very popular for food color and in cooking. The active ingredient, remember we talked about active ingredients of many of these substances. We talked about the different ones. Remember we talked about gingerome, that was from the ginger, allicin, that was from the garlic. And now in turmeric, the active ingredient is called curcumin. Curcumin. And there's many articles that's been written about it, the benefits, the risk. And here is a great article. If you want to read it, here it is right here. I think this was one of the best ones I looked at. This was from the Frontier in Pharmacology, based in 2020. And if you want to get into it in great detail, I read through this article and I'm going to bring you some of the highlights and the practicalities right now. So here is the article. So I think in addition to making the food taste good, curcumin, which is the ingredient found in turmeric, is very good at treating inflammation. It works on the COX-2 inhibitors, the cytokines, many different mechanisms, but overall, it helps inflammation in the body. So if it helps with inflammation, all the inflammatory type of diseases, it might have some benefits for. So inflammation, that's where I think it's really good for. Some people are using it a little bit for digestion, especially that people that make extra gas don't like to talk about that too much. It's also being used to help enhance the lining of the blood vessels. That's called the endothelium. And there's some studies on that. And it also has to do with the inflammatory properties of the endothelium. But remember, this substance, curcumin, I think of it like any type of prescription medication, but it works in many different mechanisms. So it works many different ways. So it helps with inflammation. It helps with has some antioxidant properties, decrease free radicals. And when it does that, it's been shown in several mice models that it can also be used to decrease the mutations that happen in the DNA. That's our genetic material. So if we have mutations in it, damage to the DNA, we have more prone to have problems like cancer, those type of things. There's some studies that showed that curcumin has at least some ability to help to that to some ability. So that's what it's good for: inflammation, and which has helped all the inflammatory conditions in the body, might help a little with digestion. I've seen a few people that will even take a little bit of it and rub it as a poultice on a spot in the body that they think has some inflammation. That might help a little bit as well. And then to the lining of the blood vessels, the endothelium. So let's talk next about who should not take turmeric. People that shouldn't take it or have to be very careful are people that have gallbladder problems, because it can constrict the gallbladder. So if you had a stone, it could make gallbladder problems worse. It also has been shown to maybe enhance the formation of certain types of kidney stones. So if you're a kidney stone type of person, you might not want to use it on a regular basis. And of course, we don't recommend it in people that are pregnant. It can interact with the medicines that block acid in the stomach, so stay away from that. Certain types of blood pressure medicines like diltiazem, the calcium channel, and verapamil that works with a certain enzyme in the liver, it might affect how well those work. And then I guess the ones you have to be the most careful on is blood thinners, because turmeric, curcumin, that can cause the blood to be more thin. So things like warfarin, which other types of that is cumin and jantivin, Xarelto, Eliquis, those type of blood thinners. Even aspirin, it can make it a little more thin. Now, I'm not saying you never can have it, but you need to talk to your provider that's providing that to you, that can talk about whether you are at increased of bleeding when you take this type of natural remedy. So the other herbs that it can interact with is mainly the herbs that thin out the blood: ginkgo biloba, garlic, cassia, angelica, those type of herbs. Any herb or natural remedy that thins out the blood, this can add to it and make your blood even more thin. So if you have problems with bleeding or platelet problems, these things you might want to avoid or be very smart about it. So those are some of the precautions you have to use with it. How do we take it? Well, one thing that has to be done is it's not very bioabsorbable. That means if you take it in, it doesn't absorb very well. But if you add a little pinch of black pepper has piperin in it. If you add a pinch of it, it makes it much more bioavailable. How much is too much? How much is too little? Well, in the studies that I read, and in this studies, greater than 8 grams is way too much. Way too much. 8 grams is way too much. Lots of side effects. And then also, if you want to just use it for inflammation, which is what most people do, or maybe to help decrease free radicals, a lot of people take these capsules here, and this is a capsule I bought, and you can get many of them. You just want to make sure it doesn't have any lead in it. This is organic turmeric, and it has 553 milligrams, but they also put a little black pepper in it to increase the bioavailability. So this is good. It's only 500 milligrams. Really, the recommended dose for inflammation is probably about 1 gram a day, or 2 of these pills if you're using it for inflammation. A lot of people like to take the turmeric, the ground turmeric, and what you can do is you can take this out and then put 1/4 of a teaspoon. You can put that into water and drink it if you would want to. 1/4 teaspoon is about 580 milligrams, and take a pinch of black pepper, and that will make it more bioabsorbable. Well, that's if you want to use it in the powdered form. And you want to take about 1,000 milligrams. So you want to take about 1/2 teaspoon if you're taking the powdered, maybe 1 gram of this. This is a weaker type that I take occasionally when I have inflammation. Would I take it if I'm pretty healthy, have no health problems at all? Probably not. Would I take it if I have inflammation? and I'm not taking some of these other things like blood thinners, yes, I would. Because in some studies, it shows that this has as much anti-inflammatory and it works on different mechanisms as some of the medications out there without the side effects of them. So I would take it for those type of situations as long as I didn't have gallbladder problems or stones, or I wasn't pregnant or had taking some of those medicines, the blood thinners that interact with it. So one thing that I want to leave you with is a little drink that you can take in the evening. I want to leave you a recipe with that. And this is something you can heat up. And this is something that I do occasionally. You put 2 cups of some type of either soy, almond, oat milk, whatever you like the best, 2 cups of that, 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric, put in 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric, put in a pinch of ground pepper, black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. You can put it all together, mix it up, heat it up a little bit. You'll have a wonderful drink, and you'll have some wonderful properties that you have in that. You have the turmeric, you have the ginger, which we talked about previously. The cinnamon also has some health benefits as well. You can mix that in a warm drink, and it's something you can enjoy. That's something you might want to try. Some people even put a little coconut oil in it as well. That's something you can add to it if you want to add up a little bit of fat in that, some omegas in that. That might be something you would add on it as well. So today I wanted to cover turmeric, taking it to the next level. I think it's very effective for inflammatory conditions, and it might overlap in a lot of inflammatory conditions. We talked about the precautions, how to take it either in a supplement, about 1 gram a day, 8 grams, way too much, or in a powder, a quarter teaspoon mixed with stuff to 1/2 teaspoon. We have a drink that you can try. A lot of people like to season their food with it, and I think it's something really good to take. Be smart about it. This is a very common natural remedy, turmeric, and the Athka's chemical in it, curcumin. It's been around for a long period of time. Many people have used it for a variety of different situations. You have a review article that I shared with you earlier that you can read if you want to know more detail about this. So please share this with your friends and neighbors, but don't forget, when you're evaluating anything, don't listen to me. Well, you can listen to me, but go to the Bible first. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God. Test it with the Bible. Pray about it. See if that source is a reliable source. See if they trust in the Lord. And then make sure it doesn't contradict what's said in the Bible. Look at the many different information you can get and see if this might be a natural remedy you might be able to add to your regimen. I personally use it when I have inflammation. I also, talked about the other ones before. Review those as well. We'll continue on this series every so often through the year. So I'm Dr. James Marcum in this ever-changing world. Thank you for coming to here to get some common sense answers. You're going to hear a lot of different things happening this year. It's important for all of us to pull together and pray. Things are happening fast in this world, and still, people are interested in health. We can meet their needs, and as we meet their needs, we can also introduce them to the key to health, the key to long-term healing, Christ, and introduce them to the truths in the Bible. And as we go on, I'm feeling more and more compelled to let people know that there's so much that's happening in our world that can be explained in the Bible. And people from all walks of life are looking for answers. We can share this social media with them. We can send it to them. We can share it. We can like it. We can get this message to the whole world that the key to health is Christ. So I'm Dr. James Marcum. I'm going to be back very soon with yet another biblical prescription for life.